Police Explorers is a program for high school kids that are interested in law enforcement, the law, military. It's meant for those that are 14 and entering at least 9th grade, and you age out at 21. Our program is almost 45 years old. It's actually sponsored through Boy Scouts, and it is hosted by your local law enforcement agency.
We help out officers during special events and stuff, acting as basically extra eyes and ears. And when we're not doing an event, we're training in law enforcement tactics through scenarios and special guest speakers. We also travel to different agencies and learn from them, such as the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, the Florida Highway Patrol, and other police departments and sheriff's offices around the state.
I'm actually the advisor for the Gainesville Police Explorers. I've been over them for about 4 years now. I coordinate the events, I participate in the events with the kids, I assist with transporting them from events and back home. I have a lot of jobs. I'm basically their mama when they're away from their moms. I was an explorer for Gainesville Police Department, so it's lovely for me to give back to them some of the same mentorship that I had growing up. As I look back, Chief Jones was actually my Explorer advisor, so now I look at them as they could be me someday looking back. The main thing I like to teach these kids is leadership. I always remind them that they represent us in the community. Even when you're not in my uniform, you represent me. People know that you're an explorer. And I remember that from when I was a kid, because when you got in trouble, the first thing they did was tell your advisor. So they know the same thing happens here.
With liberty and justice for all.
I preside over our Explorer meetings, which are every Tuesdays. I help her plan out different events and stuff. Like, for example, we have an Explorer Academy every year, so I help her plan that and help her make schedules for that. Also keep in contact with all the Explorers and make sure that the other people on my chain of command, I have a sergeant, a lieutenant, and 2 corporals, and I make sure that they're also keeping up with what they're supposed to be doing, and if they need any help, then I help them out as well as far as the inventory goes, equipment. And then at different events, I'm the one who's walking around making sure everyone is staying hydrated, knows what they're supposed to be doing, and I also coordinate the drill team part of it, and train our new guys and help the rest of the command staff get to the point where they'll be able to lead once I'm gone.
Gainesville Police Explorers are part of what we call FAPE. It's the Florida Association of Police Explorers. We have participated with them for probably about 2 or 3 years now. It's basically about 300 youth that come together and do competitions and trainings throughout the state. It's local law enforcement agencies, sheriff departments, and even federal agencies such as Homeland Security. Once a year we do a big competition where we compete against each other in different law enforcement-based scenarios. This year, for the first time, we actually participated in Youth Board President elections. The kids actually have to campaign, they do flyers, they have to give speeches. It's really neat, like a true campaign all week long, and at the end of the week, they're actually voted on.
The last one I did run for president of FAPE for a 2nd time in a row, and this year I did win. As the president, I preside over all of our delegate meetings, answer any questions from fellow explorers all across the state if they have any, and stay in contact with them and try to improve our communications all over the state. When I first got elected, I started talking to the Post, and I asked them for their feedback on how they thought the state competition went as far as scenarios and stuff. And so they'll give me that feedback, and then we'll go and we'll talk about it, and hopefully we'll have some kind of vote on if we think, one of the scenarios should be changed to something else or something like that. The advisor, Officer Smith, since she is over the Gainesville Police Explorer, she automatically becomes the state advisor for the entire state of Florida for police explorers. So she acts as a liaison between the youth boards and the adult board. Mostly I love the camaraderie. We're not all big serious kind of guys. Like, we don't just stand around with frowns on our faces for no reason. We're always smiling, we're always having a good time no matter what the event. If someone wants to join the Police Explorers, they can look on the Gainesville Police Department website and go under the youth programs and click on Police Explorers, and then they can email Officer Smith, and they come to the first meeting, and that one's a freebie for them, and they get to just kind of hang back and see if they like it, if they enjoy it. And then when they leave that day, we send them home with an application. And if they like it, they come back the next week with their application fully signed and a copy of their birth certificate, and we give them their uniforms, and we start getting them into some training.
My hopes for our program is that we continue to grow. We've come a long way in the last 4 years.
Well, I just hope to see it grow even bigger than what it's already grown into so far.